Take two.
Yeah, you know. Hey guys, it's Matt, and we need to talk. I have been driven back to YouTube by the need to discuss this book with you guys. It's called The Will of the Many by James Islington, and it is absolutely fantastic. It's early to call it, but I think that this is probably going to be my top book, or at least top 5 book of the year. So The Will of the Many by James Islington comes out on May 23rd, and you guys all need to get your hands on it ASAP. The easiest and quickest way to describe it is basically like if Red Rising and Nevernight had a baby that's better than both its parents. It's a very Roman-inspired book, and it is about the Catenan Empire, also called the Hierarchy, or if you're familiar with Latin, that basically translates to the Empire of Chains. The story follows this young man named Vis, and he is the last member of a royal family that was basically wiped out by the Catenan Empire about 3 years prior. And he is on the run, frequently moving to try and escape his eventual fate of having to cede his will to the Empire. That's CEDE. Having to cede his will to the Empire when he turns 18. So in this world, the way that the magic system works is it's powered by will. Will basically works by people, they touch these artifacts called the Aurora Columnae, and that allows them to cede and be ceded to. And this empire is a highly stratified society that's divided into 8 castes, with the Octavii at the bottom and the princeps at the very, very top. And so an Octavus has to basically give up half of his willpower, half of his motivation, half of his strength, and even some of his vitality to be wielded by those above him. And in turn, the Septimus above him will have to do the same, and so on and so forth. An Octavus basically only has access to half of their own will, while a Septimus is able to wield the will of 8 people. A Sextus wields the will of 56 people, then it's 336 people, all the way up to the Princeps at the very top, who wield the combined will of over 40,000 people and are immensely powerful. And so will can be used to imbue objects, to make them do things. For example, there are the transvects, which are large floating ships made out of rock and stone, and powered to float by will alone. And everyone within the system and the hierarchy has to cede their will to someone above them, except if you're a princeps, of course. And Vis is doing all that he can to escape this fate. He is living in an orphanage, and he works as a prison guard to make some money, and he also fights in a ring for crowds in order to hopefully save up enough coin to allow him to flee somewhere remote enough that he is off the Empire's radar. He is also trying to hide his identity and not let anybody know who he really is. But things get complicated for Vis when a man comes to visit the prison and see a specific prisoner and takes notice of this. So this high-ranking military senator called Ulysses Squirtelemus, he comes and he eventually decides to adopt Vis into his family and wield him as a political tool to investigate what is going on at this academy. This is an academy that trains the best and brightest of the empire, all the children of the nobles, and grooms them to rule. And the academy seems to be hiding something, and Ulsisker has another motive, which is his brother's disappearance and death a couple years prior. And so Vis is trained by Ulsisker and sent to this academy where he has to walk a razor's edge between conflicting loyalties as he has to discover what is going on in this academy. Torn between conflicting loyalties, Vis has to walk a razor's edge as he navigates the precarious political situation of the Empire. The Empire is ruled by 3 factions. There is religion, governance, and military. And now that the military has literally conquered the entire world, they no longer have any external enemies. And so the power balance is shifting, and these 3 governing bodies, these 3 senates, are now at each other's throats. Along with that, there are rebels within the Empire. So while this is sent to this academy, he has to climb the ranks. This has to climb the ranks and hopefully end up in class 3 or above and become Domitor of the class. And that will allow him to get a posting that he wants where he won't have to cede his will to anybody. But things are never that simple, and there is a lot of mysterious stuff going on within the academy's walls. And it gets very, very tense, and it's really, really interesting to see as he tries to keep his identity safe while also pursuing all these conflicting goals. The plot of the book is fantastic. It proceeds at like a breakneck pace once you get to probably like a quarter of the way into the book. I really enjoyed the first section of it in general, but there was this scene at about 30%, which I will refer to as human mist, that just blew me away and made me so invested in finding out what happened next. And so I read, I think, all 650 pages of the book in about 2 days because I just could not put it down. I like the Lycanius trilogy as much as anyone else. I like it enough. I think it's good, but this is a massive step up for James Islington Islington, in my opinion. I think that he has just reached another level where he was able to craft such a compelling story that feels familiar but also fresh, and I just loved everything about it. Everybody loves a magical school. That is, a fan favorite trope in fantasy, and it was no different here. I think that if you are a fan of something like Red Rising or Nevernight or The Name of the Wind, any of those kinds of books, you'll really enjoy seeing what goes on in this academy. Something else that I liked is there's also quite a lot of mystery within this book. There was an event around like 300 or so years ago called the Cataclysm, and the Empire exists in comparatively a dark age compared to pre-Cataclysm. Prior to that, they had incredible technology, and some of that still remains as artifacts and relics. But nobody really knows what caused the cataclysm. And so there's the mystery between what these artifacts can do, what the Academy is searching for, what actually caused the cataclysm, who or what killed Ulciscor's brother. There's also the mystery of what is Lucium and Obitium. There's also who killed Ulciscor's brother, what is the Academy hiding, what is the Empire hiding. There's also who are the Anguis and how did they do what they did. And so there are just so many qualities about this book to love. I think that you guys will definitely enjoy it, and you should pick it up as soon as it comes out on the 23rd of May. Pre-order it. The plot of this book is just excellent, and no spoilers, obviously, but the ending of this book just blew my mind, and when I finished it, I was just so bummed and upset that I'm going to have to wait like a year for the next entry, because I was just blown away with the couple last pages of the book. So, I highly recommend you guys check it out when it comes out. Let me know what you think down below, and have a good one. Bye. So I highly recommend that you guys check out the book as soon as it comes out, and let me know what you think as soon as you read it. It's nice to be back, and I hope to get these videos out to you a lot more regularly. I have a review for the sequel to Vita Nostra coming out soon after I re-record that, and there are a lot of good books that I've read recently that I want to talk to you guys about. So be on the lookout for those videos, and have a good one. Bye.